Figure that covers most of the stuff.
Ready? Call the meeting to order at 6:10. Jason,
Figure that covers most of the stuff.
Call the meeting to order at 6:10.
It's a little delay.
Sorry about that. Okay. Jason Wertz is absent tonight. Here. Tony Bevel looks like he's absent. Doreen Leibel,
Here.
Lisa Patterson, here. Richard Amici.
Here.
Mike Smith is absent tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve last month's minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from, supposed to be 2 months ago now.
Was it not last month?
No, last month's meeting was canceled.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Can I get a second?
I wasn't there, so I have to abstain.
Oh, you can't second the motion?
I wasn't at the meeting to approve the meeting minutes, I guess. I don't know if I,
We have the meet.
Yes. They were in the package.
You can second it. If you read
I don't
over the-
know if I can second it, if I'm, can I second it?
You can't see why not. You're the chair, so.
Yeah. Okay, I'll second it. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Okay, motion carries. Citizen comments. Do we have any citizen comments? Nope. No. Okay, so moving on to business, welcome to the new Police Advisory Board Liaison, Richard Amici. Did I say that right?
You got that right?
Welcome,
From a speaker or something?
if you want to.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I've been with the Police Advisory Board just over half a year now, so it's, that's kind of a new role for me as well. And then definitely stepping into this is new, but I'm really anxious and excited to just learn a little bit more about the city, how things operate, and see how I can better be of service. So thank you.
Thank you. Chair, vice chair nominations. No one's just so excited to be.
Nobody responded.
No.
Floor is open. Whoever would like.
When do we have to decide that? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it's supposed to be by July 1st, but
Okay,
if you'd like to stay.
yeah, if we could wait for Jason to get back, so hopefully he'll
Yeah,
want to stay on.
that's forward.
Yeah, he didn't say that, he would leave it open if anybody else wanted to do it, right? He'd be more than happy to.
Good.
Okay, keep being chair for anybody had any. And we had any objections to that. Okay.
Great. New traffic safety requests. Request number 2023-005. Requesting improvements to Villa Road, road repavement, speed limit signs, painted lines, etc.
Yeah, okay, so this one, we spoke about this before, and I think next time I'm gonna have a table and a map that we're gonna kind of code these projects. I'm hoping in GIS that we can go over, but this project kind of has a transportation project to improve Villa Road in the future. And then we have, I think there's a parks board project, or parks project, in our parks master plan that puts a little improvement there at the portion of Villa Road that goes to park. And then these 6 houses are along the road. So it's basically gonna be going into a list, and we can, I think, consider it complete at the next meeting of identified in either, I don't think it's in our 1 to 5 year CIP plan, but it is our long-term CIP plan. We were going to do this project with the Cedar Creek Trail federally funded project, but that project kept getting so expensive, and we would have had to basically turn that shared use path into a complete half street improvement just for a pathway. So we're we're gonna do that with our local funds. I wrote down here, it's likely gonna be kind of a combination of some parks funds, transportation improvement funds, and then likely some street maintenance funds. So, I'll have more detail for the CIP plan project, but I think at the next meeting, when we have a table put together, I can give you a CIP project number for this, and I'd even be willing to reach out to the people that submitted the complaint and just go over and meet with them. So I think I can get this one kind of resolved completely on my own. And then give you an update at the next meeting.
And is everyone clear what it was?
Wasn't this, there was also one that we talked about where they were wanting to put like bollards at the end, and then there's that gravel driveway that like connects the two.
Yeah, Bob was working on that, and he had drawn up some schematics to put Wildlife Haven. There's kind of a driveway to nothing there, which that was gonna be the access for all but one of the driveways down there. So this would be a complete dedicated shared use path through here, but then probably have a set of bollards there. I think that's Park. Another set at Wildlife Haven. So those 5 cars and signage and such. And we'll probably put a curb there to have pedestrians on that. And then we'll put the bicycle sharrows down. And I hope 10 feet paved width plus a 6-foot sidewalk. So there's enough right of way there to do it. It's just we have to get the funds built up, and then we'll put signs on there that says, hey, for the vaccine for the residents here, and they'll put the number down and put driveway with a arrow, things like that. So all of these
Okay, that's all.
things that they have identified are like, okay, we've got an idea of what we need to do. We just haven't have the funds for it. And I'll give my name, I'll give my card, and then they can just keep coming after me until it's done, I guess.
That's a pretty large project then.
If you add the park, I don't want to get people that are watching, someone else can maybe move their cursor, but this area is where the parks board, and I think maybe in the master plan, there might be a project there is to put something in this area and make it more of a trailhead sort of a thing. And Bob was just working on the transportation aspect of it with this, and they overlap, so we kind of wanted to package it up into a bigger project. And not just go through and put signs on the existing trail that's there. It's only about 8 to 10 feet, and it's all pieced up. It's kind of, the condition of it's deteriorating, and that's why it will be definitely a combination project, but I don't have the details on how we're gonna fund it. We'll be able to track that to the city CIP plan.
I have a question. There's a mention about electric bikes on here. Are electric bikes, those are treated as bikes as far as they should be driving on sidewalks? Or should they be on roads? But there's no bike lane.
I haven't really discussed that with our city officials, and that does keep coming up. I don't know. Yeah, you guys probably know about how, I'm gonna let the police take the lead. What I want to do with that.
Yeah, electric assisted bicycles, they are legally not allowed on sidewalks.
Oh,
They
okay.
have to be on roadways.
Is that for like full-size bicycles or those ones that are sort of like electric scooters, those ones with the little mini wheels?
So
Kids are running around.
it has to, so I have a chart here and, has fully operative pedals for human propulsion and an electric motor with power output of not more than 1,000 watts, not capable of going faster than 20 miles an hour on level ground. So
That's on the roadway.
that has to be on the roadway.
Okay, so that's a bicycle. Sounds like a scooter doesn't have pedals, so therefore.
That's okay, yeah, but the bicycle, the electric assisted bicycles, they can't be on sidewalks.
So I've seen the ones that, well, my son had one that's electric and it has pedals. But if the battery is dead, you can't pedal it. It's only for assist. It would be, it's like, it causes massive drag if the motor's not working. So it's sort of this weird place, like you wouldn't want to try to ride it.
It dies, you just,
You're pushing it.
Yeah.
You can try to pedal it, but it's like, yeah, it would be like having the brake on all the time and you're still trying to pedal it. It's a weird thing. Didn't have any more drive now, but that thing was, yeah, I was always wondering whether or not he could ride on a sidewalk.
Yeah, I'm definitely tracking it with other agencies because we have, who knows with the threshold of whether it's considered, over 1,000 watts or it goes 15 miles per hour. And I see folks going on the sidewalks out to the street, back up into the sidewalks, and then we don't have bike lanes. And then in Old Town, we don't have bike lanes, so it gets really complicated, even putting up speed limit signs, that we can't enforce those with 15 miles per hour, but we'll keep an eye on it. Definitely, it's gonna keep coming up as we have more shared use pathways and people are gonna get injured along those with folks riding, over 15 miles per hour, so. That one I don't have answers for, but definitely keeping my ears and even Googling and researching other cities. Keep it there.
If I'm hearing correctly from this entry that came in, this new one, in the aspect of to what you're saying, Chris, sounds like what, 20 miles an hour and under?
Yeah, people talking.
Yeah. So for our side, there's really probably not with this layout, anything that we're gonna be able to enforce on the complaint part of that, so.
And as citywide too, I think that's.
Yeah, but I mean, just specific to this complaint, because I assume you guys are gonna make a motion here at some point to decide if you want this shifted over to the CIP or to the city project plan, that's right.
Yeah, I think it used to be in the 1 to 5 year plan when we were going after the federal funding, and I don't remember exactly where it sits. I think it's in the long-term CIP plan right now, but at that point, you guys can have a list of projects that you're not constantly looking at and can be tracked of. So by the next meeting, the hardest part about this is getting the nice fancy exhibits drafted up in time to share them at the meetings, but I hope to have something for you that you can just see the bollard and see the plan for this section of it and put it to these folks and they can sit there and keep going to the city and ask them when will this be completed.
Well, it'll be nice to have the CIP list in the GIS map too, sounds like.
Yeah, that would, I think for me, just if I were on the committee, that would help me the most of just having the case files placed out and then seeing the project circled around them. It's all right. We're going to capture this here and then get the outlier. And we can go over kind of like the streetlights at Sunset and meaning that I think it's resolved. And if anyone has questions about it. And really the only time something will come off the list is when it's been completed and built. So this will be helpful. I think the list will be helpful for me. To track everything that's going on in the city. So
So for your motion, police department's not really gonna be addressing the issue here of the speed of the scooters or not scooters, but of the electric bikes on that roadway. Being that they're allowed to be doing 20 miles an hour. Part of that we're kind of gonna step back from. And then the other piece is more of an engineering side, so.
and I have the contact information from you folks, so I'll just reach out to them and I have best thing would just have a closeout letter and says, hey, thanks for stopping by. I forward that to you guys and then you can make the motion. Put it onto the CIP process.
So do you guys need, what do you think, Jason? Do they need to make a motion and now to say that it's bounded and want it shifted over to CIP?
I might just wait until the next meeting if you want, and then Jason will be here and we can table it. If you want to make a motion to table it until you see, more of a description of what's going to happen.
The only thing I was wondering if there, it'll be on the CIP, but it's not, on the 5-year list. So it's, if there's anything you want to do in the interim that, because she does mention some signing or striping, if there's anything that we can do to now until the fully funded project goes out.
And I think that's valid too. We will have categories. I'm gonna put like aspirational TSP project for city master plan or CIP plan. So it can sit there too at that level where if, immediate signing project, we can put that there. And I think the best thing with these case files is there's going to be certain aspects that have like 3 projects. that
Mhm.
satisfy them, so we can even start crossing out portions of the case files,
Mhm.
but, yeah, I think next meeting would be perfect to. I don't want to table anything or delete anything, we really, I think we just keep tracking until it's done. Whether we go to every meeting and look at every project, I don't think we need to, but I agree with you, something needs to be done. Whether it's just maybe a sign that says, "Their driveway here," you know, please watch out.
Vehicle traffic or,
Yeah.
you know, shared roadway sign.
Isn't that kind of some of the low hanging fruit too, that the traffic safety committee funds?
Yeah, I guess that's the question I'm a little confused on is are we gonna have the committee vote on something specific to that you want as a committee to move forward with? Or are you asking to table this whole thing till next month? I'm not quite clear on that.
I say table it. I mean, that's my recommendation, that I'll come back and I talk to Public Works. Here's 5 times we can put in. It will cost $1,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, maybe the motion is to have Jason review what kind of signage would be applicable. And maybe like a cost estimate, and then we could vote on it next time. If we want to do that in the interim, and then also in the motion stating that it'll be, that it's tied to the CIP project number 133.
Yeah.
So, moving on to pending traffic safety requests. Are we gonna go over each of these with your new information to go over?
And you kind of made it where it's like, I kind of know, maybe there is.
There isn't there?
Do you want to hit the ones that are yours and to answer your question? I don't think there's a lot of update, but we can hit each one of them and just tell you where we are.
I don't know if that's specific related to the case file numbers. I'm just, I had an update generally on traffic safety committee projects that hit several of these, and I can just go over my list. Is that okay, Dan? Just to- What?
I think it'd be great if for notes, if we could do it by the case,
Okay.
because otherwise it's gonna be very tough for her to track the notes.
Fair enough.
So Chair, if he's Tiffany, sorry.
okay.
If you want to, call the first case and then we can report on it.
Request number 2022-005. A request to lower speed limit, add more lighting, sidewalks, bike lanes and crosswalks on Edie Road.
And Tiffany, this next one, 006, it's really the same complaint, but just on the other street, so.
Okay. Request number 2022-006, request to lower speed limit, install speed bumps on northbound and southbound Elbert Road, or install stop signs with flashing lights.
For both of these, I think we'll represent these in our list for next meeting, or I don't know if we're gonna have the next meeting or August. 2 things. The speed limit change, I believe, is gonna be getting approved by the state, so those speed limit line signs will change. And then there'll be a remnant CIP project with our ED road improvements that funds all the rest of the crosswalks and sidewalks and things like that. Similarly for Elward and Hade is we're fixing the speed limit signs on Southwest Elward Road. I believe those are gonna get changed down to 35, same as ED. We're having the county swap out the 25-mile speed limit signs on Hade and making those little speed zone signs.
Looking out on Dade, that's like a case. No,
To go up to the section 22006 has,
is that Dade?
yeah, it mentions Hade, so. Just want to clear these, we can parse these out and cross out the stuff that we complete, but there will be a remnant CIP project from 2022-0062 that is a CIP project, and that's the rest of our road improvements, sidewalks, things like that, that we can use the word punter, but have a plan for it.
Is that the MTIP application? That,
ED road, yeah.
Yeah.
To be the rest of it in that cost estimate for all of it, including ED and Elward, the most recent one was like $13 million. To improve ED all the way. And that includes either a roundabout or a traffic signal at Elward and ED, which is also getting restudied as part of the Sherwood West. concept plan relook. So
Did you say Elward's gonna be reduced to 35?
I'm not sure that ODOT's processing it now, but just for the unimproved portion of it, I think so. I think Edie and Elward will, that's just what I think the speed of that change was for. Was for down to 35, and then the county will probably take a month to find out and do that, but I'll have some issues resolved here, and then we'll have the rest on CIP projects. And then I think we can close these out. Once
We were-
signs are up.
Yeah, we were gonna leave these on until that signage changed.
You just mentioned a roundabout on Edie. Is that Edie and Elworth, right where that?
That's what's in our TSP right now, is either a signal or a roundabout there. There's a lot of environmental resources there, and I know the Sherwood West relooks actually. I believe the city, our planning community development department has a kind of like a miniature NEPA study that will look at the cost benefit of relocating that intersection further north. And kind of abandoning some portions of those roads or keeping it where it's at and putting a traffic signal there. So something big is gonna happen. I just don't know exactly what.
Okay, well, something needs to happen.
Oh, yeah. Big time traffic signal, yeah.
Request number 2022-010. Parking concern on St. Charles Way to Pathway, requesting no parking signs in the area.
Not looked into that one, at all. To be honest. I did want to mention, no parking signs have always been kind of a sensitive topic, I guess, around town, so I'm gonna see how the news for our current city manager wants to go about these. I'm all for if there's a site distance issue, or we've got an issue on Pine Street up near Sunset where you go up, take a left to go up to the park and it looks like you're just gonna go ahead and some cars there. I'm gonna just add that to my Pine Street. We've got some speed limit signs going up, so I'm gonna be putting in, we're adding a separate request for no parking right arrow sign there. Somebody did, I think, today, a request years ago to the traffic safety committee. This would be a similar fix where we'll go out there, and if it's straightforward, I don't see why we can't just city manager's authority to go put them on. Wood Haven's a different story. I know that there's a lot of issues there, but I'll look into this one and we'll, I guess, make appropriate changes. We don't want any visibility issues there. So I would, for the meeting notes, it say engineering investigation by the engineering department pending. I can even delegate that to some staff to look at it, and if it's really complicated, we'll bring in a professional traffic operations engineer. Yeah, get it done right.
And then request 2023-001 and 2023-001.1. Concern regarding Sherwood High School parking lot traffic and Cade Road residents request additional traffic measures.
So I think we can both speak to this, Jason and I'll speak to the piece that we had talked about last meeting, which was that we obviously delivered the message to the school, to the principal, and sat down with them in regards to the traffic plan design ideas that we had and that you had all seen and voted on as to move forward with. We've not been able to meet with them. We've had many requests to meet, and those, other than the initial meeting, that has not occurred. So
Is that just with the principal or it's with people from the district too?
both, yeah. So it was now referred to another individual with the district in regards to the kind of facilities aspects of things. That last communication on that was earlier this week, or was it last week? And tried to get a meeting set with that person and no luck. So unfortunately, we're at a bit of a kind of stalled out moment right now. The good news on it is that, as you know, we were trying to push through to get to a resolution on this before the close of the school year. Just because we knew it would be difficult potentially. The good news is that in speaking with the principal, they were like, no, we'll be working through the summer, we can work through this. So So while it's not where I want this to be at this point, and this needs to move forward with a meeting, and then we're not getting that cooperation yet. I'm hopeful that that'll come here in the next month or two, so. The school district's obviously had a pretty busy agenda, I think, in the past 30 days or so. So I'm hopeful that we get this to something by next month. If we don't, I think we're gonna have to have a different discussion, I guess, at that point.
And for my end, I'm still working with the county to get the school zone sign swapped out with the 25 mph signs on Cave. Sounds like it's pretty straightforward. It's just getting in the queue to have the county's signage contractor come out and do the work. Obviously, if we don't have it done by school, I think we can get out with it. There's 3 months to get it done. 2 months, yeah, time flies, right? Should be out there before they do the daily double. I'm hoping by next meeting, the county has a service request and I can get you a definitive date on those. The other thing that I'm working on is getting permission for the city to install the no parking, no standing signs on the south side. And which, when we're done, we can at least monitor what's going on at the school, see if we made like a 5% improvement, because we still have a mess out on outward with striping that we really don't have much control over during drop off time. So see where we're at and then get down with the school district and see, they were waiting to have development around there before they opened up that south connector. We are actually going to be using that for our Ped Bridge project for a little bit of time for a detour to open that up. So I think we'll get some insight into that during the construction, and that's going to be, October of this fall, November of this fall, and it's going to take 18 months. So my guess is the school district will probably hold off on wanting to make changes, and they'll want to see what happens with that project, and then maybe we can make some headway there.
Construction starts, like this.
The project's going up to bid about August, September. We're looking at bidding it in prime time to get bridge contractors to submit bids on it. So it's looking like bid opening hopefully in September-ish time, break ground. I like to always use like Thanksgiving as the try to be breaking ground under construction by Thanksgiving for that project.
Okay, so the detour won't be in effect probably until, like, the first half of the school year will be.
Right, and we'll probably shoot to do it in the summer too, so we may not get any real, respond or information back when we go open it up in the summer when it's there.
Mhm.
But at least get some insight into how traffic goes, how cars can turn in and out of that area, and just generally, like, a decent amount of cars do.
Mhm.
I wonder if that Ped Bridge is gonna change how many parents are actually driving their kids to school. If they don't want kids crossing 99 as it stands now, this is going to alleviate some of that
Trying to
traffic.
help a little bit too, And that's another thing, we're doing the Sunset Boulevard crosswalk safety study that was in our CIP plan. We signed a contract with Kittleson. You'll see 2 markers. They're doing traffic counts out there. And I'm having them look at a little bit of the vehicle queuing. I got some billable hours in there for them to analyze the long-term growth of the queue off the signal off the highway, because there's no lanes to be in there. Potentially putting up barricades that limit it to left and only when you're going off the highway. If you want to get back on to Sunset, you'd have to go across the highway roundabout and come back. You wouldn't be able to take a left out of there. Enhancing that with either a push button or more advanced signal there for the crosswalk. We're going to have a lot of people crossing to get to the pedestrian bridge. So they're looking at kind of refining the concepts of crosswalk improvements at Woodhaven Drive, Timberwolf, and also Heatherwood, which are in the CIP plan. They're slated for improvements. We just don't know what sort of treatment they're gonna get. So that study should be done in the next 4 months, and we'll be able to share that with everybody here.
So they're looking at the forecasted traffic patterns from the bridge then.
The highway, the queue, I'm having them look at the vehicle queues off the highway at the peak hour because it backs up to Pinehurst. I live right by there and it's like hard just to get home. But maybe we can get rid of that median and have, continue 2 lanes to Newburgh all the way past Woodhaven is what I'm thinking, and have a viable crosswalk at that location at the same time. So you can hit a button and then people can take lefts into the Y, but that's it. And then you can at least organize the traffic there versus I think there should be dual lefts to Newburgh, but I'm just thinking.
Yes.
Get it right. As right as we can.
Do you think that backup might be because the construction at Roy Rogers, that people are coming from Tualatin and cutting down Sunset instead of taking 12th and Sherwood all the way to
No,
99?
I think it's from, we used to have, Brookman used to have full access at Brookman Road. And a lot of folks would go around
Yeah.
Sherwood and then take their left to Newburgh, probably. Upwards of, a couple hundred vehicles during the peak hour. And I don't know which, I might have been ISIL. Made ODOT put in a right in, right out, very, restriction there. So then everybody's now coming up to the signal there. The only fix is, ODOT did put a traffic signal at Brookman. So that's, until that's done, we're gonna be dealing with all that traffic. So I think we can get a long-term fix of just extend some vehicle storage, dual lefts to Newburgh, do something on the other side too. And then when that signal comes in at Brookman, then we'll be able to actually have some relief where you can use Timberell and Woodhaven during the peak hour. Without having,
They're adding in another traffic signal down at Brookman.
in the long-term regional transportation plan. I don't know when that's funded or probably should be 20 years out, but
Yeah,
at some point it's gonna trigger a need for that when they put all the houses in Brooklyn.
no, absolutely, yeah.
And we're already talking to them about potentially putting in another right in, right out access point from the highway between Brookman and Sunset for all of the stuff to work in Brooklyn there, so we'll hack away at this stuff and slowly get it. I think these case files should just stay open until they're all the way gone, even if it's, 20 years. Some of these will take 20 years, to be honest. Fund them.
Request 2023-003, requesting speed limit signs, temporary speed trailer or temporary speed radar signs to be installed on Pine Street between Division and Sunset.
I think we should wait for Jason to probably close this one and have the service request submitted to the Public Works Department. And I've done what I can here except for the trailer, but that's up there now.
Yeah.
And I'm working on those speed limit signs are a go.
I think we were keeping it on there until such time.
Yeah, I mean, you put it on there.
Until the sign got posted.
Exactly.
So
I don't have an update other than getting you a date when our crew's gonna get out there and put the signs up and hopefully we can get that no parking sign in there too. And thank you for putting up with it. The speed truck or trailer.
Yeah.
It's
I
helpful.
want to speak to that, Chris.
Yeah, we put the speed trailer up there to bring awareness. So people do see that there is something posted. It gives them a reading of the speed. It also collects data for us. So we see what speeds people are traveling, how fast are they traveling. In regards to the stop sign, I have been sitting and enforcing the stop sign. Some people stop, some people don't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't stop at that stop sign, so I've been enforcing that stop sign pretty heavily over the last couple of weeks to try and change human behavior, but.
It's the left turn. I almost did it again when I stop when I'm going towards City Hall. Complete stop, and I just for some reason missed the left turn blinker on the car going onto the park, and I again almost head on into the person turning. I'm gonna look for some sort of MUTCD compliant sign that you can put on the back of that stop sign that says like, watch out for left turn or some sort of additional warning. The service request also is gonna move the stop bars up on Division from the park and then up the hill too. So it'll bring the cars into your line of sight more when you get there, even though it's, each stop bar will get moved up right to the crosswalk. We'll try to get that sign on the back of the stop sign, speed limit signs, speed radar, trailer, and then it's already a non-ADA compliant corridor, so we aren't gonna be doing, crosswalk, continental crosswalks across the thing. It's just not reasonable to think that some of these up there, it's one of those, so, and then there's a Pine Street improvements project that's in our CIP plan that's gonna come through there and fix everybody's problems, so we don't know when that's gonna happen. So next meeting, let's plan on changing this to a C.
And then any pending city projects?
I got this is my general update.
This was you were gonna hand out a ADA CIP.
That, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that next time. I don't know where we're at with our ADA condition plan, and I don't want to wait around for that. I'm just gonna put my list together, and it will be our list. Go from there, and I think that I'm gonna reach out to our GIS folks in our public works department and see if we can get the table of Excel code it out, and then we can get it into some sort of shape file that's just there forever to continue on. I think once the complaints come in, some cities do it for any complaint, really, it just geocodes itself into a dot and goes into a map and never disappears. So something similar to that for these traffic safety issues, because they're all over the place that, see things or, what road is it off of Woodhaven? Everybody misses the left to get to the highway. Dewey. Right there, just a couple of simple signs that say 99W, take a left, so you're not having someone. And I still do this every now and then, just forget it, and then now I'm doing a big quick in a haste, U-turn in somebody's driveway, so just those two signs would help, so I think we're doing good stuff. We'll keep doing it.
When you have as we work towards having like an Excel spreadsheet or a GIS coded, are we gonna have access to those like electronic files, or is it something that you'll probably just provide?
All this probably work in a PDF,
Yeah.
those PDFs and things like that, but the meetings are for the public streaming, so there's no reason, I don't want to not share my ideas with the public about what I think can improve the community, and then our electeds can decide whether we want to fund it. And if it goes into a master plan, we have to have funds identified to actually get it into the list, so there's no harm in putting everything that's a valid concern on a map, and then just selecting what we have funds for.
Thank you. Committee comments? Anyone? Okay, I guess we can adjourn.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice.
6:47. All right, that might be a record.
You have to move to adjourn.
So I gotta try to get.
We have to move to adjourn. That's what we do in our
Oh, okay.
board meetings.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn then.